Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Think Unbroken podcast, video cast, thing cast, me cast. I'm Michael Anthony. As you may know, I am a adult mentor for adults who have suffered and experienced traumatic child abuse and are trying to take their life back. And the reason that I do that is because I was one of them, and always will be, I guess. Different location today. I'm actually outside recording this at a co-working spot here in Bali, so apologies if there's a lot of background noise, but I wanted to get this out, and so I'm going to do my best to filter that out in post. Hopefully you won't hear anything, but no promises, unfortunately, just because it's the nature of being here in Bali, and sometimes it just goes this way. It's been a couple of weeks since I last posted a podcast, and the reason is, to be honest, I have been overwhelmed, and every single moment of my day from start to finish has completely been scheduled out. Like literally from the first moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed, I have had no extra time. And the reason is that I've been working on a couple of things. One, the final edit of the book that I've been working on, Think Unbroken, Understanding and Overcoming Childhood Trauma, is on its last read. Like I'm done. Like this thing is complete finally. And if you follow me on social media at Michael Unbroken or on Facebook at Michael Unbroken, you know that this is going to be coming out on October 7th, 2019, which is also my birthday. So a little bit of a present to me. The work that it's taken to get to the point of being able to release this thing has been intense. It's been such an interesting undertaking because I've always said that I would write a book one day. I just never knew like really how demanding it is mentally and emotionally to dive in to create something that is hopefully not only palatable, but something that actually creates a path for people. When I sat down to write this book, I wanted to do so in making sure that the content that was within it is content that will help people have a better understanding of who they are, better understanding of how they can move forward in their life, and most importantly, tap into the parts of themselves that they didn't know that they had, because that's very much my journey. If I fast forward, into my youth, my teens, my 20s, my life was just chaos. I was a perfectionist, I was a control freak, I was a borderline alcoholic. Dare I even say alcoholic, but that might just be the nature of the times that we live. I was smoking 2 packs a day, drinking all the time, right? Maybe I was an alcoholic, I'm just gonna come back to it. I was drinking all the time, smoking all the time, getting high every single day. I got high every day from the moment that I woke up till the moment I went to bed since I was 12 years old. And 15 years of getting fucked up every day will definitely take its toll on you. And I realized, like, when I was 28, I had this mirror moment. I've talked about it before, so I won't go into it now. But basically I came to a reckoning with myself and decided to change my life. And in creating this book, I took the series of the practices, of the particulum, of the curriculum, of all the things that I've done over the course of the last 6 years. And really stuff from the beginning, things that I noticed in my youth that I did, like resiliency, and I stuffed those all together in this book, combined with the 6 principles of healing that I created, that are kind of like the foundation and the baseline for everything else that comes. So that I'm very, very excited about releasing here on my birthday. So October 7th, 2019, that will be coming out. You can pre-order it now at thinkunbroken.com/book. And everyone who pre-orders is actually going to get something really special. I'm not going to announce it yet, but you will find out very soon. Outside of that, I've been working on getting the one-on-one mentorship program launched. So I'm really excited that that's going to be coming out here in the next week. So if you're listening to this today, in a week, I'm going to be taking the first steps towards putting this public, getting people fully involved in being a part of the mentorship, because I know that there are great tools that I've created outside of the book through the Think Unbroken workshop that I've now turned into an online coaching practice. And the reason that I did that is that I realized that I needed someone like me when I was going through my journey to help me understand exactly what I was doing, how to get to where I was going, why I was sabotaging, and how to get out of my own damn way. And for me, that's something that I want to be able to offer people. As a mentor, it's less about me rah-rahing you and more about me pushing you to become the person that you know you are. So very, very, very excited to launch that, and that will be coming very soon. So anyway, I was talking about busyness, and busyness got me thinking about what I want to talk to you guys about today. And busyness for me has always been a scapegoat from sitting with the things that are actually on my mind or bothering me or keeping me kind of like stuck in the vortex. And recently my busyness has been in work. And what's interesting about this round of busyness that I'm experiencing versus past rounds of busyness is that this one doesn't feel like I am hiding from some underlying issue that I can't seem to put my finger on. There is a pulse here that I recognize in this busyness, in that it is something that I'm driving towards in a really intense and intensive way. Like when I'm working, when I'm writing, when I'm creating, when I'm podcasting, when I'm doing all these things, there's intention. As a whole, my life feels really amazing right now. Like if you would have told me 20 years ago that I would go from being a homeless child to living on Bali to traveling the world to impacting people and changing lives, I'd have been like, you are out of your fucking mind. There's no way that this drug addict fucking 13-year-old is going to be anything. I thought I was dead or in jail. I really thought that was my path. So like I'm so grateful to be here, and I realized like I haven't really enjoyed and dove into life here in Bali. I haven't really experienced what it's like to live in a place like this because I'm working so much. And it got me thinking about self-care. Now, every day I have a routine of self-care practices, and my mornings start with getting up out of bed within 10 minutes, period, no questions asked, out of fucking bed. One of the things that I used to do all the time is just lay in bed for hours. Next thing you know, my whole day has passed, because there's nothing easier than just grabbing your phone or laptop, surfing the internet, watching porn, reading Facebook posts, whatever, for hours and hours and hours. The next thing you know, your whole morning is gone. So rule number one, I'm out of bed within 10 minutes every single day, no matter what. Like that is ultimately what I try to do every day. I'm a human being, that's not always going to happen. I also value sleep, and sleep is such an important role in my life that I want to make sure that I am sleeping, because there have been points in time in my life where I've slept for 2 or 3 hours a night, and so I'm a victim of insomnia, and I'm working through that. So I try to make sleep a priority. And you know, if I had a night where I only slept like 2 hours, I might stay in bed a little bit longer. So you know, I think that's a big part of self-care, is like, yes, we have boundaries and we have principles and we have habits, but you also have to be able to take care of yourself and do what you know is best for your body. Next, I get up and I meditate. You know, meditation for me is not about finding, you know, this sense. It's not about separating my mind from my body. In fact, it's the opposite. You know, a lot of people meditate to go into the spiritual realm where they're seeking understanding a better part of who they are. And I have those moments too, but typically my meditation is about reassociation. It is about putting my brain back into my body. Because one of the things that happens when you are a child abuse survivor is that you become highly disassociated. And disassociation could mean that you are participating in doing things that you don't remember doing, saying and acting in ways that you don't remember or understand why you're acting or saying them. Dissociation can also mean that you have no relative idea of who you are. And for the majority of my life, I have been totally disassociated. I can pinpoint that back to being 5, 6 years old, being beaten, being molested, and just totally shutting off my emotional capacity. In addition, like shutting off my ability to cry. There was a 15-year period where I literally cried like 5 times. I can count every single one of them on hand, right? And that's disassociation, not feeling emotions, not feeling your body, disconnecting from all of the things outside in the world that impact you. And I became so disassociated because it's a survival mechanism, right? And so being disassociated for that long plays huge role in what happens to you in the future. And I knew that one of my biggest struggle areas, one of the points of pain that I had, was being so disassociated. And so my daily meditation practice is simply about getting my brain into my body. So I do a body scan meditation, and I slowly just take in all of my body, think about how it feels, let myself be on the earth, on the ground, wherever I am, and touch base with my body, from my toes to my brain. I put it all together and I go forward throughout the rest of my day. And it helps so much because I feel grounded, I feel like I am in tune with who I am, which is a big deal, because if you're running around with no idea who you are, no idea what you want, no idea where you're going, then that's exactly what's going to happen. After that, I do gratitude, right? And my gratitude is very simple. Some mornings I wake up, put my feet on the ground, and I go, I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be in this place, because it's so important to show gratitude. And science shows that if you can show gratitude, it actually rewires your brain into happiness, or maybe contentment. Maybe happiness isn't the word I want to use. But it rewires your brain into a place where you feel better. And actually there are studies that show that it helps reduce inflammation, helps reduce anxiety, helps reduce depression. And that's just by waking up being, I'm grateful for the day. I'm grateful for my partners, my friends, my children, my life, my job. Find something to be grateful for. For a lot of us who have suffered trauma, the first thing that we do when we wake up, when we get out of bed, is we go, fuck, I am alive still. I don't want to be here. That's a big burden to carry with you all day. And if you can slowly change that habit and that thinking of feeling like you hate your life, feeling like life fucking sucks, which, look, don't get me wrong, I've had these moments. Sometimes life fucking sucks. Even still, like now, sometimes life sucks, right? That's just the nature of the game. Sometimes it's gonna suck, but still in those moments, trying to find bits and pieces and places to be thankful, to be grateful, will play a huge role in your day, in your week, in your month, and in your life. So if you can take a few minutes, find gratitude for anything, and especially yourself, your life will be better, I promise. And it takes time, because it's hard to wake up in the morning and be thankful when you got bills, when you're sick, when you fucking hate everyone, when you feel like everyone hates you, when you have no self-esteem. I've been there, I have done that. There's nothing that you're gonna tell me that I haven't experienced, right? And from there, I stretch a little bit. Moving your physical body when you have had trauma trapped inside of it is so important. And I spent years going and doing yoga in yoga classes and courses across the United States, going here and there and doing these things. But for me, I've decided that with doing yoga, it's just a part of my daily practice. Get my body moving, get my brain working, and get those things connected again also. And then from there, I just start my day, go shower, have my vitamins. I fast, so I don't normally eat until, noon, 1 o'clock. And there's some science around that. I don't think fasting is for necessarily everyone, but the more research, the more science that comes out about fasting. There's efficacy in it, especially in healing and getting rid of inflammation. There is an incredible book called The Body Keeps the Score. If you haven't read that, I highly recommend that you read it. And one of the things about it is knowing that our body has trapped trauma within them when we have suffered trauma as children. And one of the ways that manifests when you're an adult is through inflammation, right? And we know that inflammation and stress, chronic stress specifically, leads to disease, debilitation, your mind just being totally fucked up. Like, inflammation is the key precursor, along with chronic stress, that will ultimately kill you. Stress will kill you before anything else. And so fasting for me is about getting out and letting my body kind of run its full course without being stuffed full of food. If you don't know this, I'm going to tell you, I used to be morbidly obese. I know this sounds nuts. People don't believe me when they look at my before and after pictures. Yes, I used to be over 340 pounds. Now I'm at 200. I lost a literal human being in weight. And one of the ways that I did that was through intermittent fasting. And I've even done long-term fasts. So, feeling my body healthy and clean is amazing, and it actually empowers my brain works so much better fasted, right? So next thing you know, that's my morning, that's my day. I just get up, I go through the motions. Now, the reason I'm talking about self-care is because, yes, I have that daily routine, and that never changes. And that routine for me in the morning is about, call it 25 to 30 minutes, if that. Some days it's shorter, just depends on what I have going on, how much time that I have, what I need to do. My evening routine, very similar but backwards. I'll do a little bit of stretching, I'll do some more gratitude, and I'll meditate again. And that meditation in the evening is about calming my brain, calming my body, and just kind of getting in tune with preparing myself for sleep. A lot of my abuse happened at night, and so I have to put my brain into a sense of safety so I can sleep. But the self-care piece of this, and the reason that I'm talking about this today, is because I realized I have a habit of working way too fucking much. And there are a lot of people who do this also. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, I'm a workaholic. Like that, I admit, no questions asked. So I will work sometimes from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, only taking a break to eat and stretch. And for me, like, I'm not opposed to it because I'm like, honestly, I'm building something, and so it doesn't feel like work. I love what I get to do every day. I love that I get to impact the world. I love that I see 20 years down the road what my future looks like. And that to me is worth every moment right now. But I also realize that there are still ramifications of this. There are ramifications of working like a crazy person. And one of those, and most importantly, is just fatigue, just brain fog, feeling dead, feeling worn out, feeling like I've just used all of my resources. And so this past weekend, I went out to a place called Uluwatu, and I totally disconnected. No phone, no internet, no nothing. I ate, I got my tan on, which I'm already brown, so I'm about 5 layers more brown than I usually am, which hasn't happened. I'm in Bali, and I am as pale as I am when I lived in Portland, Oregon. Like, if that gives you any indication of how I'm spending my time, it's mainly indoors and not in the sun. And I realized, like, wow, my body feels so much better with exposure to the sun. We all know we need sun exposure, really like 10 to 15 minutes a day. And I've just been sitting inside these offices, and spending this time on this past weekend made me realize, like, yes, I have these self-care practices, but they're almost habitual, they're ritualistic, they are routine now. There's nothing about them that feels like they're an extra piece of the puzzle. And so now I'm challenging myself to further dive into this idea of self-care. And I've done some other things, you know, like I'll add in a massage here, going to the gym there, you know, doing jacuzzis, like writing, reading, taking breaks, watching stuff. But my self-care practice is shit. Like, I'll be the first one to admit it. Like, as a whole, taking the time to totally chill out, relax, like, totally goes away. And I realize, like, this is because I'm a perfectionist. And I believe, and not in like delivering, not in deliverables, because I don't believe perfection is attainable in any asset. And this is why it's like, it's such a conundrum for me. The perfectionism that I'm talking about is like knowing that if I don't do everything I can in my power, that nothing's going to change about the future that I want to create. There's still going to be children getting hurt. There's still going to be adults who are suffering. There's still going to be just a lot of people stuck in the vortex. And so I think about like what my end goal ultimately is, and that is to eradicate child abuse and the impacts that it has on the world. That to me is perfection. Like, if we can fucking end that, the world will be a better place. And so that is what I'm driven towards. But I also realize, like, if I'm dead, if I'm dead because I've worked myself literally to death, that's not going to happen. So I'm working on implementing some more of those things. And I feel very vulnerable, like, sharing that, because part of me, like, wants to be this superhero. Part of me wants to be the guy that never gives up, that never stops, that goes 100 miles an hour, never takes days off, because the mission is so great. And then I realized, like, I'm also still this guy who has trauma, who has a long list of abuse, who still has to take care of himself before he takes care of other people. And maybe that's because I'm so empathetic and I'm such an empath that I feel a responsibility to put others before me, especially now when in the past I didn't. And maybe I'm making up for lost time, right? Maybe you can relate to this, where you feel like you're moving forward in your life, you're making these changes, you're doing these things, and part of that feels like making up for the time that you wasted. That's how I feel. I feel like I wasted a lot of time, a decade plus, of taking advantage of other people, not doing my best for myself, not doing the best for the people in my world. And so that's a part of this too, that perfectionism is righting that wrong, fixing those things that obviously they can't be fixed. I can't go back, I cannot change the past, right? And I don't let that hinder me. Like, I don't stop my past from letting me move forward. It's just something that I acknowledge. And I go, yeah, you know, maybe my past is a part of the reason that I work so hard now, because one day I want to know that I did right by all the people that I did wrong by previously. And so thinking about self-care, thinking about what modalities I can move forward and implement in my life, I think the biggest is like finding that balance between life itself and working. And I don't know what that looks like yet, so I'm diving in, I'm exploring, because I have all these different things that I think about when it comes to that balance. One of the things I'm really proud of that I've done recently is I don't work after 10 o'clock at night. right? Which for years I'd be burning the midnight oil, going until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 7 and doing it all over again. So I'm really stoked that I do not work past 10 o'clock at night. I also don't work when I don't feel well. Sometimes. This is the one that like is next on the list, not working when I'm sick. Like if I can get to that, I'm gonna be super excited. And I think most importantly is not working when I have, if you heard that, I'm sorry, it's Bali, what are you gonna do? People have horns selling food, like we're doing the thing. And I think the third thing is not working and putting other people second, which I was so guilty of in my 20s, growing my wedding photography business, growing my clothing brand. Like nothing came before work. And I don't necessarily have regrets about that, but I definitely feel strongly about not continuing to do that in the future. I think it's so important to not put that before other people. And so all this said, this last weekend gave me a lot of insight and a lot of calm and a lot of relaxation and a lot of patience with myself. I actually took a nap in the sun, like at the pool. I don't think I've ever literally done that before in my life. I cannot think of one time that's ever happened. And that was just a great reminder that like life should also be pretty chill. Life should be relaxed. And if we're always in a constant state of go, 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 how do we have the time to sit with our thoughts? And you know, there have been times in the past where I do have a few days off and I sit on my thoughts and I'm enveloped by stress, anxiety, depression, these lingering thoughts. My story becomes totally coagulated with chaos. And this time was very different. This time was very different, where it was just relaxed. I was very present. I didn't feel called or drawn towards anything specifically. There was no anxiety, there was no stress. And I realized like that comes on the backside of doing all of the work. And this is the first time that I've ever experienced this level of relaxation, where it was just perfect. At least as perfect can get, right? I mean, still, there's always little things, right? So as I head off and leave you guys with this podcast, you know, one of the things I wanted to share is the meditation practice that I mentioned earlier. I actually put one on my website, so if you're interested, go to thinkunbroken.com/meditation and grab that. There's a free body scan meditation that I put together that I recorded, because it's the same one that I do every morning when I get up. That helps me. It's a longer version of it, so you can really get in depth and deep with yourself. So that's there. I want to know also, what are you doing for self-care? How do you spend your time? How are you healing your past? What are you doing moving forward? I'm super excited to feel back into the flow of things. I love time off, but I'm always like, all right, let's get back to it. There's so much work to be done. I'm so excited. Again, sorry guys, it's Bali. I know it's annoying, but I hope that you'll bear with me. But anyway, I'm really excited about what's coming. I'm excited about the book. Again, you can check that out at thinkunbroken.com/book. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know, what do you want to see from me on social media? Leave me a message, shoot me a comment, send me a DM. Like, what can I do better for you? I want to take my level of expertise and knowledge and really leave a path towards you becoming the best version of yourself, because I know that the things in the system that I've done work, right? Because here I am, I'm living proof of it. And it's not that it's just done because I did it. Every single day is still continuing to move forward, right? So as I move forward, I want to know that I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. I know so many of you guys have been following me from day one. Most of you guys have been following me for years, and I appreciate that so much, especially as we start to grow. Think Unbroken is only going to become bigger, and I can only make it bigger with your support and with you sharing and with you telling your friends, and with us as a collective doing our best to eradicate and end child abuse. You know, I always say that though trauma may be our foundation, it is not our future. And I mean that because I know it's true, because here I am living my life, and I know that you can too. And I know that sounds insane. I know you think like, fuck man, how am I gonna live my life? Look, you're in Bali, you're better than me, you're special. I'm not. I just did the fucking work. I did all of the hard work. I spent all of the time, and I still am spending all of the time becoming the best version of myself. And I believe that you can too. So until next time, my friends, be unbroken. See ya.